Yo, this is Talking E. Welcome to the locker room. We talk nothing but basketball. Now, we had Stephen A. Smith, JJ Redick, and Matt Dog come together, and they brought up a point that I would like to speak about. And the point was, Jaylen Brown is up for a contract extension. He's looking at about $300 million. Is he worth the $300 million he's about to get? Now, to start it off, I'm going to give you guys my opinion first. And then we'll talk about what they were saying. First things first, do I think that Jaylen Brown deserves $300 million? Yes. Of course Jaylen Brown deserves $300 million. Of course. Nobody's going to say that he deserves $300 million. Why? Because his terrible exit in Game 7. His terrible exit in the conference finals against the Heat. That's why. But before that series, nobody would have said nothing. Everybody would have been like, yes, Jaylen Brown deserves $300 million. Of course he deserves $300 million. And that's the thing that I hate about the media. Stop living in the moment and live in the real world. Just because he made a mistake, just because he played terrible in one series or one game or two games, that does not mean that he doesn't deserve $300 million. Because in the regular season, when they were winning and everybody had the Celtics as the favorites to win the finals and win the championship, nobody said nothing about Jaylen Brown not getting $300 million. Nobody. In fact, I believe they said the opposite. I believe they said he deserves whatever amount of money he was going to get. And on top of that, how many players in the league are locking up your best offensive player and giving you 30 on the other end? Not too many. Jaylen Brown is probably the best player like that right now. At this given moment is Jaylen Brown. Don't say Giannis, because Giannis is super dominant on offense. He can't shoot the three. And on defense, he's a very good help defender. He's not a good one-on-one defender. You put Giannis on Booker, you put Giannis on KD, you put Giannis on Paul George, he's getting cooked. Every time. But if you put him on help defending, he's fine. He's one of the greatest help defenders in the league. Can Giannis stand his own? Yeah, he could stand his own, but I'm saying like he's not the best at it. Jaylen Brown will lock up your best defender from Booker to Paul George to Kevin Durant to literally put him on anybody. He's going to stand his ground. He's going to play defense. And he's going to give them a hard time. And he's going to come down the other end and he's going to give you at least 20 to 25 points that game. So how can you tell me he doesn't deserve $300 million? Just because there's a 3 in front of it? If this was $200 million, 250, you would have been like, oh, it's okay. Just because it's $300 million? He deserves this contract. Nobody's playing as good as him right now. In terms on both sides of the court. And he's showing up every night. And Matt Dog, now let's talk about what they got to say. He came out and he was like, he doesn't deserve it. He's not good enough. I can name 25 players better than him. But I swear, some of this man's takes like irk me. Like they make me want to like, oh my God, bro. It's like, I don't know what these old heads were smoking back in their days. I'm not accusing him of being on nothing, right? But I'm just saying, I don't know what these old heads are smoking back in the days. I don't know what type of cigars and cigarettes they was giving them. But it's coming back and it's burning their brain cells right now. Because how the hell are you watching the same game that we're watching and telling me that you can name 25 players in the league right now better than Jaylen Brown? And JJ Redick is trying to explain it to him. He's trying to tell him he's not getting $300 million because he's overpaid. He's getting $300 million because the salary cap has gone up. The salary cap has went up in the last, I don't know how many years. It's like every 2 years it goes up. And you're trying to explain to him in 5 years somebody's going to sign for 400 and something $1 million. That doesn't mean that they're overpaid. It just means that the league is growing. The sport is growing. Players can get paid more. A max contract in 5 years is going to be way different than a max contract right now. The minimum contract in 5 years will probably be like around 3 to 5 M's. Players are getting paid $20 million now, like a Mikal Bridges, like a Duncan Robinson, a Tyler Hero. These type of guys, you give them in 5 years, they're going to be making 25 to 30 M's. 5 years ago, that was what the superstars were making. KD, LeBron James, they were getting 30 M's a year. 40 M's was like crazy like that back then. Now you got Jokic getting 50 M's a year. I think Steph Curry was getting 50 M's a year if he's not getting it now. In another 5 years, the superstar will be making around 60. And you're a one option or a two option, you're making around 60 to 70 M's in 5-6 years. The league is growing. The sport is growing. Players are getting better. Players are having bigger fan bases than the team sometimes. So what do you mean he doesn't deserve $300 million? And then they tell him, all right, name me 25 players better than Jaylen Brown. This man goes and says, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has not played a single playoff series or two playoff series back to back since 2019 or 2020. In the bubble when they choked the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. He has not played two series back to back since then. The man just came back from sitting out a whole year and he's about to sit out for another whole year. Stop telling me that players that are not playing the game are better than players that are playing the game. I don't care about what they did in 2015. I don't care what they did in 2014 and 2012 and 2019. I don't care what a 40-year-old did when he was 30. You're not him right now. Kawhi has came out and he played the first game, second game, third game. He's looking great. But if you can't stay healthy, if you can't be there for your team, what's the point of being great? What is it? You gonna tell me Kawhi Leonard is better than Jaylen Brown? Kawhi Leonard is not available. How is he better than Jaylen Brown? That's not a thing. You gonna sit here and tell me that Booker's better than Jaylen Brown? Now y'all know I'm a Suns fan. I love Booker. But Booker's an elite offensive scorer. He's an offensive player. Elite. His defense has evolved throughout the years. But he's not Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is a great offensive player. Booker got him on offense. He's better than him on offense. But Jaylen Brown's great. He's not elite, but he's great. But Jaylen Brown is an elite defender. An elite defender. And I'll take that any day. He can defend and score. What Jaylen Brown needs, he needs to be more calm, understand the game, understand that him and Tatum are not 1 and 2, they're 1A and 1B. So he needs to understand how to read the game, how to slow down. When Tatum is not in the game, but he's not really doing nothing, Brown has to take control. And that doesn't mean go bully your way to the basket every single possession, even though you're good at that. It means make the right play. You don't need to pick up 2 offensive fouls in games that matter. You don't need 8 turnovers and have more turnovers than buckets made. Calm down, control the game, understand what you're doing. That's what Jaylen Brown needs. But other than that, he's great. He's good. So for you to sit here and say he doesn't deserve $300 million, it's like, what player do you think deserves $300 million? Don't say Kawhi because he don't play. And then you're gonna tell me LeBron James. LeBron's great, bro. Please, like, don't take any type away. LeBron is great. But LeBron just played like 16 games in the playoffs and only gave us a 140-point game. One. I don't think he scored a 30-point game in any other playoff game. Never hit 30. At all. So, I'm not saying LeBron is terrible. I'm not saying that he's bad. But I'm saying, like, he's getting there in age. And then you're going to say Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is nice. He has the tools to be better than Jaylen Brown. But he doesn't always play like he's better than Jaylen Brown. Anthony Davis has the tools to be one of, if not the best player in the league. But he doesn't always play like that. And his injuries always set him back. But when Anthony Davis wants to, yes, he is better than Jaylen Brown. He's probably the best player in the league. Arguably. But he doesn't always play like that. Ever. And when he does, you give him like 10 games and he's down. Now he's gone for like a month. So it's like, what's the point? Y'all let me know what y'all think, okay? Because I want to know what y'all believe and how you guys look at this situation. Because honestly, I'm like confused. Like, I'm thinking we all agree that Jaylen Brown deserves. I mean, we all also agreed that he had a terrible game 7 and he had a terrible series overall against the Heat. But we all knew that the Celtics were playing bad to end the season. And they were playing bad against the Hawks. And when they lost those first 2 games against the Hawks in that series, I came out and I said the Celtics might be in trouble. They might not lose against the Hawks, but they're going to be in deep trouble against the next couple of teams that they play. And everybody said, no, they're good, they're good. They went up against the Sixers. First game, the Sixers exposed them. And to be honest with you, if the Sixers didn't have bad game 7s like for James Harden and Joel Embiid, this could have been a whole different series. It could have been Sixers and Heat. And we sat here with, oh no, they're good. They made it past the Sixers. We said, oh, they're good. They're going to beat the Heat. And they struggled. They've been struggling. It wasn't like they faced the Heat and started struggling. They've been struggling. But nobody said anything about Jaylen Brown then. Everybody was only speaking about Tatum. Everybody said, oh, Tatum needs to start scoring in the fourth quarter. Tatum needs to take shots in the second half. Nobody said nothing about Jaylen Brown. And now look. Series is over and now everything, oh, Jaylen Brown this, Jaylen Brown that. I don't know, bro. Y'all let me know. Chat them down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E. And it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety in my hearts.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the 3 to win it. Good.
That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.